what's new. Get ready.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to episode 45 of the Play to Win podcast. My name is Tyler. I am your host this week, and I am joined, as always, by my amazing, awesome, fantastic, well, not as always, but for the first time in a bit, actually, now that I think about it, my amazing, awesome, fantastic co-host, Keiran. How are you doing, my man? It's been a bit since you've been here, whether it be, storms, power, a lot of internet, just stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm good. I've been very busy. I'm very tired, and I'm very glad to be back.
Yes, I'm glad to have you back because there's a good amount of stuff here to go over that, it'd be nice to get your thoughts on. Even if you're not the biggest Nintendo guy, because it's going to be a Nintendo heavy episode, I still would love to get your thoughts on some of these things and probably, try and get you excited for some of these things here that you may or may not be that excited for. Also excited to hear some of your thoughts on what happened with Bungie last week, because you were not here for that episode. So get some brief thoughts from you on that.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about all that and more in this episode of the Play to Win podcast. This is our weekly show where we break down the week's biggest gaming news through in-depth discussion. Timestamps in the description if you would like to bounce around throughout the episode just to hear certain parts or, whatever you want to hear in the episode. Check out the timestamps in the description for more. Also, whether you are on YouTube or on podcast services, please subscribe to us. Subscribe. It helps us out a bunch. Share the show with other people. Leave us those likes and comments. Leave us reviews, 5-star reviews on podcast services would be preferred and ideal because that'll help us out a whole lot and get us, more recognition and help us grow even more, which is what we would really love to do. If you're on YouTube, turn on that notification bell. That way, as soon as videos go live, and you can be one of the first people to watch every video that we put out, whether it be an episode of the podcast, a review, a commentary type video, or preview, an impression, whatever it may be, you could be one of the first people to watch it because you will be one of the first people to know about it. So make sure that notification bell is on. With all that being said, though, we got a couple things we're going to talk about this episode. Main topics being this week's surprise Nintendo Direct, Xbox, Microsoft, they kind of, gave some words about the Activision Blizzard acquisition. We've been getting updates about it throughout ever since they, announced their intent to acquire Activision Blizzard. We got another major update on it this week. And we got an Assassin's Creed report about a new project in the series. That is exciting for me personally. So we're going to talk about that a little bit as well later on in the episode. But first, we have some brief mentions to get through. And these brief mentions, some are good, some are sad. But we're gonna get into these. All right. So first up, we got some numbers to go through, and they're good numbers over here. Horizon Zero Dawn, first off, passes 20 million copies sold between PS4 and PC. The Herman Holst, they announced it a couple days ago. So congratulations to the team over at Guerrilla.
100%.
Right on the heel West releasing on the 18th. Very excited for that game. Very, very hyped. I'm gonna be taking the day off work to play that one myself. Play it all weekend long. It's gonna be a great, great time. Sticking around with PlayStation though for a tiny bit more. According to the MPD group, the PS5 was the best-selling console in the US in January. Under that, in second place were the Xbox Series X and S, and then under that was the Switch in third place. So the Switch got knocked out of first place again for best-selling console and everything in the US. Surprising, but I guess they weren't able to bounce back from the holiday sales as quickly as they might have wanted to. Maybe that's also the ambulance in the background driving to go help the Switch and boost them up to first place. Yeah, because they just like driving by my block whenever we record stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're going with the Wii U on life support back there. Yeah. Well, no, not life support. The Wii U's dead. Maybe they're gonna try and drive it to the hospital to bring it back to life some way. Who knows?
Yeah. You can always count on the ambulance going past for the Wii U.
That's why I made the joke. One more bit of numbers here. It Takes Two has sold 5 million copies. So congratulations to Joseph Fares and the team at Hazelight on that momentous achievement right there. Now, EA, they are not releasing their Sims 4 wedding expansion that's coming out soon. They're not going to be releasing it in Russia due to laws against homosexuality that country has. And EA and the team over there at I believe is Maxis that makes the Sims games. They want to stick to their vision. They're not bowing down. So nope, they're not. It's not releasing it over there in Russia.
Fair.
Which I can understand that. I stand by that. The Uncharted movie director is discussing a Jack and Daxter movie with Sony. I'm very intrigued by that. Although I am under the mindset of if a Jack and Daxter movie happens, it is either animated or it should not happen. I Jack and Daxter, I feel like needs that liveliness and needs the liveliness that you can only get from animation, whether it be in terms of characters, like the way characters move, the things they can do, and just the way the world looks. It'll be better served as an animated movie than a live action movie. So I hope that's what actually happens and we don't get a live action weird thing going on, because that would be a bit too bizarre in my eyes.
Was it Tom Holland who said he wanted to star in a live action Jack and Daxter movie?
Yes, it was him as well. They both talked about this the same week. So I don't want it live action. If it happens, keep it animation, please and thank you.
Every Sony movie must have Tom Holland.
Oh dear God, I like the guy. You know,
I like Tom Holland.
You know, I could kind of see him as Jack. I could see that happening. You know, I'm not gonna say he couldn't be. It'd be funny. It'd be cool. According to Bloomberg's sources, Beyond Good and Evil 2, that game that was first kind of announced like over a decade ago and then just disappeared off the face of the earth and then came back 2017, just like, yeah, it's back, and then disappeared again off the face of the earth. Apparently, according to Bloomberg sources, it is still in pre-production. So yet again, that game is probably not coming for a very long time, if at all.
Yeah.
So sorry, Beyond Good and Evil fans, you're going to be waiting a bit longer for that. Fans who have been waiting a while for this other game, The Wolf Among Us 2, got a nice little boost in their systems this week in the form of a new trailer for the game and a 2023 release window. This came as part of a behind-the-scenes type interview thing that happened with Jeff Keighley and some of the teams over there. Some of the people over there on the team working on the game. I didn't watch the whole behind the scenes, but I did see the trailer. I am very excited for Wolf Among Us 2. Give me that game, please, and thank you. Let's see. A few more things here. As of recording, more than 173,000 Battlefield 2042 players have signed a petition demanding a refund for the game, because angry players going to change.org is always going to save the world. Platinum Games has expressed interest in finishing Scalebound with Microsoft. Maybe it'll happen. Who knows? Imran Khan over at Fanbyte has released a report full of details on the unannounced Resident Evil 4 remake. Of course, because it's unannounced and it's early in development, things change in development time, which Imran does state in his article. I think he even says it like at the beginning and like, hey, these are just kind of details that we know of as of right now, but this is all subject to change. So like, don't take this as necessarily gospel, but some of the details he has are about like the game's tone, it being more set at nighttime as opposed to daytime, like the original. They're going for a more focus on horror type vibes as opposed to the original game. Some details about Ada Wong and how her role in the game and her missions in the game might be changed in the remake as opposed to the original. It's an interesting deep dive. So by all means, go check it out if you're interested in Resident Evil 4 remake. Modern Warfare's sequel and Warzone 2, or the next iteration of Warzone, have been formally announced by Activision and Infinity Ward, who is developing both of those projects. The next Warzone will be, quote, a massive evolution of Battle Royale, and it will also come with a new play space and sandbox, and both games will run on a new engine. It's very exciting stuff for Call of Duty fans. Who knows? We don't know when we'll be seeing this next Modern Warfare for the very first time. Most likely, in August, like the past two have been. That's when we've gotten the first announcements. Maybe the next Warzone will be released alongside it. I don't think that was officially confirmed or anything. But these are things that are happening, and it's actually earlier than normal that we get this type of information from Activision. So interesting that they put it out there now. Probably did that though to boost the Call of Duty community's morale and get them like, hey, we know you're not happy with how things are right now. This is what's coming in the future. Please stay excited. Please be happy. that's probably the case going on over there. You got something to say? So you look like you
Yeah,
got something to say.
yeah. I was just about to say that's literally what I was about to say. I was about to be like, oh, finally, I actually care about Call of Duty again.
Yeah, so I'm looking to it. Of course, Activision Blizzard, they got all their issues going on over
Yep.
there, which we can't ignore or anything like that. But I am excited for this. And I even tweeted out like, hey, like this is gonna be the first time in years that I've been excited about Call of Duty. So
Yeah.
if it's at least as good as the 2019 Modern Warfare, I'll be back on Call of Duty for another year. Last but not least, Team 17, they are, I believe, the developers behind the Worms games.
Yeah.
Last week there was a whole NFT thing going on with the team over there, which got the staff over there upset and all, and they walked that back within 24 hours. And now a report came out this week about poor workplace conditions over there at Team 17. I have not read the article, but I do want to read it. I did just want to put it out there, highlight it for those who may or may not have heard about it. I know it was on IGN where I saw the report, but it might have come from somewhere else. Again, I have not read it yet, but I did want to highlight it and bring it to people's attention because I thought it should be brought to people's attention. And that's all the brief mentions we have. But before we get into our news proper this week, I did want to get just Keiran's real brief thoughts on Sony acquiring Bungie for $3.6 billion because he was not here in the episode last week. That's a huge deal. Not like monetarily, although I guess you could say it's huge for Sony, but just like industry wide, it's a huge deal. It's a big thing that's going on over here. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on it real quick. What do you think about it from the Sony side, from the Bungie side, from a player's side? What are your thoughts on it? Real briefly.
I'm very happy that Bungie are going to continue to be multi-platform with, I think they said everything they do.
Yes, they said Destiny 2 will remain multi-platform. Their future games that they have in development will be multi-platform. Like they will choose where they put their games.
Yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense for Sony because they don't really have a first-person shooter in their lineup. And now they kind of do with Destiny. Like it's on every platform and blah, blah, blah. But it's now technically a Sony IP. Technically.
Right. Well, no, it's a Bungie IP. But because Bungie owes the Destiny IP, but it's in the Sony wheelhouse, Sony family. I get what you're saying. Like, it will be more closely associated with Sony because they have acquired that. That's what you're getting at.
Yes, that's more akin to what I meant. I also think it makes a lot of sense for Bungie, mainly because this kind of says to me that they weren't doing so well independently. Because if their independence had been everything they wanted it to be and more, they would not have sold. They would have just continued to remain independent. However, with them being acquired by Sony, don't get me wrong, they weren't doing poorly necessarily because I'm like Destiny still makes billions of dollars a year, I would imagine. But like if it had been doing as well as they would have hoped, then they probably would have remained independent.
I wonder, did you read any of the articles about this acquisition? Did you listen to the episode I did last week about it?
I did not.
Okay. I was just curious. Because I mean, of course, money is going to be part of it, them having more funding. And when they announced this, they said, the most immediate change you'll see is staffing wise will just be accelerated for us over at Bungie. So I'm sure that money was a part of it, but I think the bigger part of it, the bigger play for Bungie was really the fact that they now have access to Sony's film and TV divisions.
Exactly.
Because they've always wanted to go multimedia. They've wanted to do film and TV with Bungie. I mean, with Destiny, sorry. They've wanted to expand it into film and TV and movies and all. So I imagine that was probably the bigger play for them on their end, aside from getting more money and getting more funding. Like that comes with the territory all the time when it comes to an acquisition. That's always par for the course. But I figured that transmedia, that wanting to expand into different fields with Destiny and with any other IP that they may do, but specifically Destiny, that was probably the bigger get for them.
Yeah, no, I saw something on Twitter. I think that Sony is going to help them make like movie and TV shows. Which like I'm gonna watch the hell out of. Like I'm a big Destiny fan, but I don't play it all that often.
I would love to see some stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm in on that with an asterisk right now because I want to see what it would be. Um, yeah, I mean, I honestly think it's a good thing. Like I saw a lot of comments like, "Oh, this doesn't compare to Activision Blizzard. This doesn't compare to Bethesda." I'm like, it's not intending to. Like,
Mhm.
it's not like Microsoft announced that they were acquiring Activision Blizzard, then Sony were like, "Crap, who do we buy?" Bungie. Like this
Right.
deal,
Like,
I think I saw something you tweeted or something someone else tweeted that it's this deal. It was you actually. This deal has been in the works for 5 to 6 months. So it's
yeah,
like,
that was from Christopher Dring, I believe, over at Games Industry Biz, the person who did the interview with Jim Ryan
yeah,
about the acquisition.
yeah. So like this is in no way a response to the Activision Blizzard acquisition. I would even argue it's not really in response to the Bethesda acquisition because if it was, they would have gone for somebody like Square Enix or I don't know EA or Capcom or someone rather than a single studio. While yes, they still make very good games, they currently make one game, and that's kind of it. They're in process of making another one. I know, but they currently make one game. So like
I
this
mean,
is on
go,
you.
go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this isn't intended to be a rival to Microsoft's. We're spending $7 billion on Bethesda or $78 billion, basically $70 billion on Activision Blizzard.
Yeah. I mean, for Sony, again, like I talked about it in the episode, and many other people have said it as well. This was for Sony just a way to expand into, well, greater expand into live service
Yeah.
because they don't really have any live service stuff. They're not really, I guess they're not really that well versed in live service. Although, again, in the interview, Jim Ryan says, I would bet on us to do well with live service games on our own. But if we can have the guidance and assistance of
Mhm.
Bungie, who kind of pioneered the live service
Yeah,
genre in a sense,
exactly.
and have gone through all the ups and downs of it so that we can like try and avoid those as best we can, that'll be great for us. And
Yeah.
like they already said they're working on, there's like about 10 live service games that are planned to be out from Sony by 2026. So like you imagine that the Twisted Metal reboot, that's one of them. Whatever the Last of Us multiplayer is, whatever Naughty Dog's multiplayer thing is,
Yeah.
you imagine that's it as well. You could imagine that Deviation Games, their thing might be live service.
Yeah.
Firewalk's game might be a live service thing. Maybe they take SNL episode, maybe they take Ghost of Tsushima and take the Legends multiplayer and expand that into its own thing. Apparently there were rumors of a Horizon MMO or multiplayer type thing. If that's true,
That'd be
maybe
interesting,
that is
actually.
also a live service thing they got going
Yeah.
on. Like there are so many things. PlayStation's London studio is working on an online multiplayer game. Perhaps that's one of them. Having Bungie here can help all these studios. They have a direct line of communication to Bungie for all
Yeah.
this assistance and making sure their economies are good, their roadmaps are good, making sure that they're doing right by the players and all like that throughout the game's lifetime and what have you. Because again, as Jim Ryan also says, they're trying to expand PlayStation off of just the console. They want to make it into a bigger thing. So
Yeah.
live service is a way to do that. And all. So it's there's a whole lot of good on this from both PlayStation and Bungie that they both benefit. But the most important thing for me that I definitely appreciated was that Sony said up front right away, no, they are still staying multi-platform. They are independent. We just own them, but they are independent subsidiary doing their own thing. Destiny is still multi-platform. We're not taking them from you. They decide where they put their games. They said that up front, and I appreciated that. Like,
100%.
it's just like in stark contrast to the wishy-washy, maybe not so, who knows, from that type of language from Activision, from Microsoft with the Bethesda acquisition and the Activision Blizzard thing. It was just like, like right up front. So it kind of like in my mind just tossed out the window all the points that people were saying of, oh well, the legal lawyers speak. They can't really say these things. They haven't owned them yet. And it's just like Sony's like, no. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. So I appreciated that a whole lot.
Yeah. One thing I kind of want to tack on to the end of this, like Kieran's thoughts on things he missed because I didn't get to like speak about this.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what shocked me more than this story did?
Oh, was it Crisis 4?
Yeah, it was Crisis 4.
I forgot about that. I did want to ask you about that too.
Like,
yeah.
You should have seen my face when because I was like, I remember exactly how it happened. I was scrolling through Facebook, and I can't remember. It's like everything Xbox, or it's not Xbox Wire. It's Xbox. There's like an Xbox news website that I follow on Facebook, and I saw them post a story about it, and I started reading it, and I'm like, this is 100% fake. This is not happening. There's no way. This is some kind of like, somebody got fired and they're trying to get revenge on the site or something. And then I'm like, you know what? Just for my own peace of mind, let's go and check Crytek's Twitter account. And I went and checked, and I saw a trailer at the top. I watched it and dropped my phone. Like I was so shocked that this is actually a thing that like I lost my mind. I am so excited. I am kind of all in on it already. Like Crysis is one of my favorite video game series of all time. Give me more of that game. As long as it's got a bow and arrow, I'm happy. Take your time with it. Obviously, I don't want it until it's done. But oh my God, am I shocked, surprised, excited, just absolutely mind blown that this is a thing.
Real quick question about it, and then I have one more question to ask you about something else that you weren't here for, and then we will get into our news proper with the direct recap. Question for you with this: another ambulance. Don't know where it is. Either ambulance or fire truck.
It's coming to resuscitate me after the news of Crisis 4.
Exactly. For Crisis 4 or whatever they call it, because this Crisis 4 is a working title.
Yeah.
Do you want it to be more like Crisis 1 with more open levels? Do you want it to be more like Crisis 2 and 3? What kind of direction do you want them to take this new Crisis in? And do you think it's gonna be like a benchmark type game like the first Crisis was? In terms of like visuals and technical aspects and stuff like that.
When I tweeted about, like, I maxed out the like 180 characters and I can have on Twitter with like, oh my God, Crisis 4 is happening, and has repeated that until it was done. And one of my friends commented being like, my PC is on fire with the news. I want them to go in more of a Crisis 2 and 3 style. Like I enjoy Crisis 1, but I feel like Crisis 2 and 3, in my opinion, are much better games and are much more succinctly structured than Crisis 1 was. So I definitely want them to go in that kind of direction with it.
Okay. Interesting.
As long as you give me a bow and arrow, I'm happy.
Interesting. Yeah, they got me more excited to they got me excited. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll jump into the remasters sooner than expected.
Exactly, same as me.
So I'll hopefully I can find time to play the remasters at some point this year. But the other thing I wanted to ask you real quick, I know we don't have many thoughts on this really, but GTA 6, not officially confirmed with that title, but the next GTA is officially announced in development. When do you think we see it? Do you think that it is actually the next full GTA, not just like there's a GTA Online 2 type thing? So yeah, when do you think we see it? Where do you hope or want it to take place? Or do you have like any thoughts of aspirations or wishes of like what this next GTA can and will be?
I don't think we are seeing this game until like 2024, 5 at the earliest. Like
2025 would be way too late in my opinion.
I don't know. Like didn't they say it was early in development? And like
no, they said it's an active development.
Oh, okay.
And there have been rumors about this game's development for a while now, for a few years now.
Okay.
So it's not like they're just now starting it. Like they've been working on it for a bit.
Okay. I will revise my answer and say 2023 pushing into 2024.
Is when we see it or when it's released?
Oh, when we see it. Like in no way is it released that. So like I think end of 2024, start of 2025 is when they release it. When we see it is sometime next year or pushing a little bit in 2024.
See, I think because they announced it like this the way they did, I think there's a chance that we could see it for the first time this year. Don't know. I don't think but I say that I don't mean like summer. I think we could see it like end of this year at the earliest. Yeah. Next year is very likely though.
What were the other questions you asked me again?
I guess when do you think it would release, and do you have like any hopes or anything for this next game?
Single player DLC. That's all I wanted with GTA 5 was single player DLC, and I never got it. Like I understand why GTA Online makes a lot of money. They didn't want to devote like time away from that to make single player DLC for GTA 6. That's all I asked.
Yeah, I would love for them.
Oh, and you asked me where I want it to be set. Scotland, obviously.
In release date, what do you think it comes out?
If I said it's going to be shown for the first time next year, pushing into 2024, I will say I'll go a year later and say 2024, pushing into 2025.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm kind of on the same mindset. So I think if it's shown this year, 2024, I think is like the earliest this game comes out. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. We got a bit of time to wait before GTA 6 comes out and Crysis 4 comes out. But thank you for those thoughts. It's good getting your thoughts on some of those hot button topics from last week that you were not here for. But now we had a Nintendo Direct this week. And Nintendo Directs are always a fun time. It's a fun time because like you get people theorizing, oh, what's going to be there? Are we going to get Mario Kart 9? Are we going to get Breath of the Wild sequel? Are we going to get F-Zero for the Switch? Are we going to get Mother 3 at long last and Mother 4 announced at the same time? Is it going to happen? And of course, like none of those things ever happen. It's like once in a blue moon when those things do.
Am I going to get Hollow Knight Silk Song finally? No.
You know, I tweeted about that as well on the Play to Win account. I was like, hey, are we going to see this? And I put the picture there. I didn't think it was going to happen. And it didn't happen. And I saw someone tweet like, Hollow Knight Silk Song fans, we know we've become so numb to the pain of not seeing it that it doesn't even hurt us anymore when we hope for it. It doesn't happen. But overall, it was a really, in my opinion, really, really great Nintendo Direct. Start to finish, top to bottom. It was fantastic. I think it was one of the best Nintendo Directs we've had in a very long time. Filled with a number of great announcements. The pace kept on moving nice and swiftly and all. And this Nintendo Direct was focused on games coming mainly in the first half of 2022. So immediately I was like, yeah, Breath of the Wild sequel, most likely not coming, not going to be there. Mario Kart 9, don't count on it. It's not going to be there. Metroid Prime 4, it ain't going to be there, guys. All your super pipe dreams will not be here. Get it out of your head. Of course, you still have people saying, but what if, maybe as the one more thing.
How insane would it be, and how salty do you think Guerrilla would be if they were like, Breath of the Wild sequel launching February 18th?
I swear to God, that's the one thing I've been dreading in the lead up to Horizon's release. Just like, Nintendo, don't you dare drop it in February, please. Let this game have its moment to shine. Yeah. And instead of it being Breath of the Wild, it's Elden Ring dropping a week later. So like, Horizon's still kind of in like a rock and a hard place situation, but hopefully there'll be more than enough different between the two games so that they're not like directly compared to each other again.
Just real quick, I have an interesting update about that. Don't think I'm getting Forbidden West launch, but I am still getting Elden Ring.
You're gonna drop one for the other?
Yeah.
That's a shame. I was looking forward to talking about Horizon Forbidden West in the show with you.
Not 100% on that decision yet, but anyway, we'll continue.
I mean, do you? Your money. I can't tell you what to do, but man, oh man. But anyway, we're talking about Nintendo right now.
Yes.
Not Sony, not Elden Ring and From Software. We're talking about Nintendo. And Nintendo kicked off their Direct with Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Basically, the next Fire Emblem Warriors game, which similar to Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, it's kind of like continuing the story of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, but kind of doing its own thing in a sense, the way Age of Calamity did. And okay, I did not play 3 Houses. I, have no investment in the story at all like that. Didn't play Age of Calamity, so I don't have much to say on that game in terms of like how that game's story fared compared to Breath of the Wild and gameplay wise as well. Needless to say, it looked cool, and I know fans are going to be super excited for it. Watching that trailer though, I was like, woof, that frame rate, man. That frame rate, it's dropping, which I'm pretty sure was the thing that happened with Age of Calamity as well. The frame rate wasn't the best in that game either, as far as I can remember. But hey, it still looked fun. It still looks like a fun time. It is coming out June 24th, which is very soon. I really like how Nintendo has been doing this a whole lot lately with their games, where they announce it and it's like, and it's out in just a couple of months, guys. Don't you worry. So it's like you're not waiting 3, 4, 5 years for a game, with the exceptions every now and then, such as Breath of the Wild sequel or Metroid Prime 4. What did you think of this one? I know you're not a Fire Emblem guy, you're not a Muso guy, really. But you did check out the trailer because I told you to check out the trailer.
Yeah.
I made you watch it. You got any thoughts on it though?
I mean, like, it looks cool. Like it looks like a fun game, and I'm sure people are gonna have fun with it. I have never played a Fire Emblem game. I have honestly no interest in playing a Fire Emblem game. I know my friend has spent like 400 hours playing Three Houses, doing all the like different things you can do in that game, which like I don't have that kind of time commitment to invest into a game. I don't know if this one is anywhere near as long, but yeah, I mean, like the game looks cool. I can get behind it. I just can't get behind playing it.
Gotcha. I can understand it. I'm probably not gonna play it just because I never played Three Houses.
Yeah.
But it does look cool. So that's great for all the fans out there. Looking forward to that.
Hopefully their frame rate issues will be fixed before launch.
Maybe not. We'll see. Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. We got a brief trailer and an April 8th release date. No Man's Sky was also announced to be coming to Switch at some point in time, which is cool. Aside from like the visuals, of course, being downgraded from the PlayStation and Xbox versions of the game, it looks like No Man's Sky. So I was like, hey, that's awesome. Get it on the Switch where a whole lot more people could play it, take it on the go, do exploration while they're out and about. It looks like a fun time. Mario Strikers, though. Series is coming back, which as I thought the last entry was on the GameCube, but I was wrong. The last entry was on the Wii. This is the first entry since then, Mario Strikers Battle League. And it's coming out June 10th. For those who didn't remember, Mario Strikers, that was basically Mario Soccer with a whole lot of, more abilities and powers and Mario-esqueness to it. And I was watching this and I was like, man, I might just get this game. I just might get it. I never played the first two Mario Strikers, but that was mainly because I just wasn't interested in it at the time. I was just like, my gaming palette was really like contained, and I didn't like go outside of it very often, if at all. But nowadays, more games from different genres and stuff interest me. So this one, I actually got my eye on. And I think I want to try and pick it up when it comes out June 10th. It looks like it'll be a whole lot of fun. Karen?
Yeah, I mean, this is when I'm going to show that we are definitely from two sides of the Atlantic, because I have no interest in football. But
I'm not interested in football. You said football. Soccer. Correct term, sir.
It's football.
I'm not interested in it either. But the game doesn't.
Exactly. It's like I have no interest in football, but I am definitely like interested in this game. Like not maybe at launch or anytime soon, but like definitely at some point I kind of want to play this game. It looks like a lot of fun. I don't know how difficult it's going to be to what do they call it? Like a hyper shot or
like the super shots that you could do and everything.
Yeah, the one where you basically pick up like a smash power up ball on the field and then
I know what you're talking about.
Not sure how difficult it's going to be to get one of those fully charged up, but yeah, definitely interested in picking this game up at some point.
Yeah, I want to try.
Although I said that about Mario Golf, and I still haven't bought that game.
I'm not really a golf person though, so I was never gonna get Mario Golf. Mario Strikers Battle League though, that looks like it'll be a good time right there.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you, but I also thought this was a Mario Battle Royale when I first saw the title.
Dear, wow. Okay. Well, you saw the title, but not like anything else for it. So I guess that makes sense. And you also didn't know Mario Strikers is associated with like Mario's Soccer.
Oh, so. Yeah. I knew the game existed. I just forgot.
Gotcha. Yep. Makes sense then. So then we got another Nintendo first party reveal here from Splatoon 3. They revealed their Salmon Run Next Wave game mode. Basically, it's Salmon Run returning for Splatoon 3. It was basically kind of just like a gameplay trailer showing what the mode is like in Splatoon 3. It's kind of like play through a whole match of it. I have not played Splatoon 2, so I don't know what changes there are between Splatoon Salmon Run in 2 and how it is now in 3. Needless to say, though, every time I see Splatoon 3, I become more and more interested in getting that game. And I never played the first one because I didn't have a Wii U. I have a Switch, just haven't played the second one yet. Probably, and I think at this point, I'm not going to get the second one. If I get any, I'll just get the third because it's right around the corner. But I've always been intrigued, and I always like the concept of Splatoon because it's different. It's a different type of shooter. We don't really get shooters on Nintendo anyway, but it's a different type where the goal, the whole goal and the hook of it is painting the area, using that as to your advantage and all. So the more I see of it, the more I'm interested, the more I'm excited. And I think I do want to get this game when it comes out. We still don't have a date, just summer 2022, but it's looking more and more fun every single time.
Yeah, if you want to look at a trailer of what sheer chaos in video games looks like, just go and watch the trailer for this, because I couldn't keep up with everything that was going on. Like, there were so many things happening at the same time, so many different like abilities and enemies and all this stuff. Like, it looks like a lot of fun. Not a big Splatoon guy. I think I played Splatoon 1 and then didn't play 2. I mean, like, I'm somewhat in kind of the same boat as you, where like every time I see it, I'm like, hey, this looks like a lot of fun, but not really something that I'm probably gonna get. Do you know what Splatoon, whenever I see it, reminds me of?
What?
Did you ever play the game De Blob?
I did not, but I know of it.
Yeah, it always reminds me of that, and I really enjoyed those games. I hope they make another one, but it just always reminds me of that, maybe because of the paint.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
That's like the common factor between the two of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Splatoon 3 looked great. Gonna rattle off a couple things here they showed off. Front Mission First, which is a remake of the original Front Mission that's coming to the Switch this summer, and a remake of the sequel has been announced as well as coming at some point in the future. Disney Speedstorm was announced. That's basically free-to-play Disney kart racer. It's coming this summer. I was hoping for a brief moment that they were gonna be like, and Sora's here, but I know it's not gonna happen. Star Wars Force Unleashed is announced to be coming to the Switch on April 20th. Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection, is coming to Switch on February 17th. So a couple days after this episode drops. SD Gundam Battle Alliance has been announced. It's coming later on this year. Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition, has been announced. This is the long-rumored Chrono Cross remaster that we've heard about. It was originally in that big NVIDIA leak that happened. It's basically just an HD remaster of the original game. And it also has this, I believe this Radical Dream. It has something that was originally only exclusive to a different platform, like in Japan or whatever. And now it's in this version of the game, which is super cool. I never played Chrono Trigger, never played Chrono Cross. I know people that like Cross, do like Chrono Cross. But everyone kind of says that Chrono Cross is a great game on its own, but it's like lesser than Chrono Trigger, which is held in very high regard and very high esteem. But regardless, people are excited about this. I will probably try and play it at some point in time. I'm not going to be there day one for it, but it does look cool. And this now has a lot more people lending credence to that NVIDIA leak, because in that leak also from Square Enix was Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered, which people have been dying for Final Fantasy Tactics to come back in some capacity. There was also Final Fantasy IX Remake in that leak. There was Tomb Raider Anniversary in that leak, and Kingdom Hearts 4. So people are saying, yeah, that leak is seeming more and more real by the day. And with this announcement, it's like, hey, Final Fantasy IX Remake, give it to me. Kingdom Hearts 4, show it to me. Give it to me, guys. Please and thank you.
Yeah, in that leak, it said that Silksong was releasing in February, and if that, like, it's probably not, because we're well into February at this point. It hasn't been, unless they shadow drop it, which I can't imagine they would do. But if they did, that changes my entire gaming plan for February. But like this, I think this is the one trailer I didn't watch because I just have no interest in Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, anything like that.
You're not a JRPG person, which we need to convert you. We got to convert you. Play a Final Fantasy. Jesus. Come on now. Play a Final Fantasy.
I have not touched 7 Remake in like a couple of weeks, and I should probably get back to that.
You know, I forgot you actually had 7 Remake. As I said that, I'm like, play a Final Fantasy. Completely forgot you're playing 7 Remake. But yeah, play other Final Fantasies. Play Kingdom Hearts. Play Persona 5 Royal. And then play Persona 5 Strikers.
I saw Royal on sale, and I was like, I was so close to hitting the buy button, then I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Play that game, but just know it's a 100+ hour commitment. Yeah, but it's well worth it.
It's how much time I put into Valhalla and The Witcher.
Oh my gosh. Moving on though, for the direct recap, we got a new look at Kirby and the Forgotten Land gameplay, which was kicked off with Kirby eating a car. Ate the car, which wrapped himself around the car in mouthful mode, and we saw he can now eat different objects. He can eat cones. He can eat like wing gliders. He can even eat water and then absorb it all and then spit it all out. And the memes were just flowing. Memes were flowing. There's been all types of art of Kirby just like eating giant things now. People were saying, "Oh my gosh, they gave Kirby throat goat mode," and I was just like, hilarious. It's perfect. It is perfect. I love it. Like that alone right there, I was just like, y'all, you all know what you're doing with Kirby. He is too freaking cute. I'm going to play this game.
The launch is March 25th, right?
Yes, the exact same day as Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yeah.
And there's a third game that just got announced last week for that same date. I'm blanking on what it is. There's some other game coming out March 25th now. I feel so terrible for not remembering what it's. Oh, Ghostwire Tokyo, March 25th now. So I'm just like, well, 3 giant games on that same day.
Yeah, because like I have such like no, I don't really have a dilemma. Like I'm playing Wonderlands. If I had to pick one of the 3, it's gonna be Wonderlands. But like,
for me, it's gonna be Ghostwire most likely, and then Kirby right afterwards.
Yeah, I'm in the opposite. I'm Wonderlands, Kirby, and then I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in Ghostwire.
Have you seen did you see the state of play for it?
No, I did not. Check
it out. That might change your opinion on it because it kind of did for me.
I saw it's not really a horror game, but that's a different topic. I'm really excited for this Kirby game. Like I've never played a Kirby game before. I've never really had any real interest in the character that is Kirby before now. Up until I always thought that Kirby was female. Always.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I'm probably gonna get it day one and take my Switch to work with me.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully I enjoy it. Hopefully we all enjoy it. It just looks like a grand old time, and Kirby is just too precious and adorable. He just is. So him swallowing a car and then driving around, it's just the best.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of adorable, can we just talk about the foxes for a second?
I forgot what they looked like, but I vaguely remember them. They looked like really cute too.
They are the most adorable things I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Kirby the Forgotten Land is coming out of nowhere and stealing our hearts.
Yep.
Just like the Phantom Thieves would if they, if Keiran played Persona 5 Royal. Moving on though, we saw a bit of MLB The Show 22 gameplay on the Switch, and it looks about as good as you could imagine visually on the Switch. Kingdom Hearts Cloud version's got a brief trailer. Don't play the Cloud version, just play it on any other platform if you can, because we should just have native versions of Kingdom Hearts on the Switch. Honestly, we just should. Klonoa 1 and 2 are coming to the Switch on July 8th. Portal 1 and 2 are also coming to the Switch at some point this year. Then, yes.
I just have one quick thing. When we were discussing before we started recording, like what trailers to put in, and you were like, I don't know how you feel about Klonoa 1 and 2 and that. I'm like, I've never heard of that game in my life.
Yeah, you see, I've heard of it, and I know, like, apparently it has like a cult following. Like apparently a lot of people like Klonoa. So I was like, I never played it. I know of it. Maybe Keiran likes it a whole lot. Who knows? So hey, check it out. Maybe it appeals to you, and you never heard of him before. So that was kind of sorry if I wasted your time with that one.
No,
but I hope I did not waste your time with Live Alive, because this game just appeals to me and looks so freaking awesome. It's coming to the Switch July 22nd, and Live Alive, for those who don't know, it's a game that was only released in the West, in Japan before by Square Enix, and it kind of did Octopath Traveler before Octopath Traveler, way back in the day. So the premise of it is like there's a number of different characters, and each of these characters has their own story in different time periods. It's like one historic time, one person in the far future, one in the modern day, one person is like in the I forgot what type of which period era in Japan's history. I forgot which one specifically. It's set in the trailer. But they each have their own stories, and they each have their own gameplay systems and all for each time period. One of them in the Wild West has its own story and gameplay period and everything. and I believe they all come together, like all stories intersect in some way, shape, or form. Um, but it's done in that HD 2D style that Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy have, which is utterly beautiful, glorious. And the premise just sounds so awesome and cool to me that I was just like, I'm getting this game day one. I will most likely get this game on day one, and I really hope I enjoy it because it looks so awesome. The premise is so intriguing, so interesting, so fascinating, and it made me actually say, you know what? Maybe I want to give Octopath Traveler a try because I wanted to give it a try when it first came out, but then I read reviews of it, and reviews were like mixed. Some were like it's really great. Some were like it's actually it's pretty okay or good at best. So maybe I'll go ahead and give Octopath Traveler a try if this is like similar in like premise to it.
Yeah. I'm not 100% on it. I'm not like 0% on it either. Like I would want to look into it a bit more before I decide whether I'm going to buy it or not. It doesn't like immediately appeal to me, but it's like slightly piqued my interest. Like it looks like an interesting concept. I like the art style. I'm just not 100% sure if I would want to invest my time playing that game, which like sounds kind of harsh, but like when you have as many video games released in a year as as they do, and only a very limited amount of time to play video games, I have to be quite selective with the games I play. So
2022 is just huge for releases. Like this direct just added a bunch of releases on it out of nowhere for me. I was just like, oh dear God.
Yeah. So like I'm interested, but I'm not engorged by it. That's a really weird.
That was the wrong word to use. No. Oh God, engorged. I'm not That is a word you use for a completely different thing.
Is it?
I mean, here's the thing. It could apply.
Yeah.
You could say it and it could make sense.
You understand my meaning.
It could make sense, but it's just like when it makes sense like that, it's just like, oh dear God, no, I don't want to imagine that at all. So no, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. I went to say enthused, and my brain just kind of like
your brain
switched the words.
Opposite direction. Those are two very different words. Mean very different things.
Yeah, we might just leave that.
We'll keep it in.
Move. No. I mean, leave the conversation. Let's move on.
Yeah, we're gonna move on. Live Alive looks cool. It looks great. July 22nd is when it comes out.
Yeah.
You know what also looks cool? It was I was very excited and surprised by Nintendo Switch Sports. I don't know why it's taken this long for a Wii Sports successor to be made. Well, Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort successor to be made. Why it's taken this long for the Switch to get it, but Nintendo Switch Sports is a thing. It has bowling, tennis, chambara, which is the sword fighting that Resort had. It has soccer and badminton and volleyball. No boxing, disappointingly a bit. Boxing was my favorite to do in the original Wii Sports, but no boxing is here. Golf will come as a free update in the fall, and it releases April 25th. I am so excited for this. So excited. Like when I was watching the direct, and I forgot who it was. It was president of Nintendo over there. He was like transitioning into this announcement here. He said, let's take a look at this next Nintendo Switch headline. And then he did a swing motion and you heard a click. Like you heard like the hitting like the tennis ball or the badminton thing. I was like, oh, Wii Sports? And then it popped up. I was like, wait, hold on. This is more than just that. I was like, oh, Nintendo Switch Sports. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm getting this game day 100%. Absolutely.
I am in on it.
I have so many fond memories playing Wii Sports. It's just such a good collection of mini games that I am so excited to try to get the Switch version. My favorite one to play was golf, and I'm kind of upset it's coming in the fall, but I will happily wait for it. But yeah, if there is one game from this direct that I'm like, that is a game I'm absolutely getting day one, it's Wii Sports. Almost tied very closely with Kirby.
I'm surprised that they said golf is coming as a free update in the fall, because in the trailer they showed gameplay of golf.
Exactly.
So it's just like, is it ready and you're just waiting on it, or like is it like not fully done yet? It was weird. Like, is this like your way of being like, it was gonna like drip feed sports every now and then, who knows? Hopefully they do add more sports over time though, and not just golf and then leave it at that. I'm very excited by this. The one thing that disappointed me is the fact that they showed the new like character models in the game. I'm like, oh cool. Is this gonna be like the introduction of new Mii's? It's like, oh no, your regular Mii's are staying as they are, but these are just like other characters you can use. I was disappointed. I was like, oh man, I thought we were gonna be able to like do more Mii customization, but it is what it is. I'm very excited for this though.
Yeah,
very hyped. Wii Sports was one of my favorite games to play on the Wii. So like Nintendo Switch, like when it launched, it had 1-2 Switch as this like Wii Sports-esque type of showcase game.
Yeah,
but like there hasn't been a proper like, let's go back to that Wii Sports type of realm for the Switch. So I'm happy that we're getting it back here with Nintendo Switch Sports. It looks fantastic. Couple more quick fire ones here, then we'll get to our final two announcements from the Direct. Taiko Rhythm Festival is releasing this year. Looks like a lot of fun. Triangle Strategy got a new demo, and it's going to transfer your save data to the full game. So that's cool. And in the demo, you can play up to the end of chapter 3. I'm not playing the demo. Triangle Strategy looks cool visually. I'm sure tactics fans are into it, but I'm not a tactics game person, so I'm not into it. But I hope everyone who's playing it enjoys it. Cuphead Delicious Course got a brief trailer. It's coming June 30th. Metroid Dread is going to be getting a free update that adds Rookie Mode, making things easier, and Dread Mode, which makes it a one-hit kill mode for you. And then they're also adding a boss rush as well. So that's cool. Don't know why anyone would want to play Dread Mode, especially on some of those boss fights. Some of those boss fights, just like, oh dear God, I would not do those like one-hit death. But hey, they're adding it. That's cool. Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings are now on Switch Online, which is fantastic for those fans. Sorry, Mother 3 is still not a thing that's coming to us in the West. Third-party montage, some third-party games. Then we got the 2 final announcements. And this next one had me laughing the entire time. So, they said, hey, I know a lot of you fans have been wanting an update on the Mario Kart series. Well, here's something for you guys. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. Paid DLC at that. And they said that and I started dying. I was like, oh my God. They are not doing Mario Kart 9 anytime soon. No. Oh my gosh. What the heck? DLC all these years later. It's 5 years after the Switch came out. That game is just now getting DLC. Why wasn't it getting DLC in 2019? Why not then? Yeah. Why all these years later? But then they kind of actually made it like they cushioned it, so it actually sounds better. It's actually better than it actually sounded initially. DLC is called the Booster Pass. It's $25, but it consists of 48 remastered tracks from across the series, and these tracks will be released 8 at a time in 6 waves, with the final one releasing by the end of 2023. And the first one is coming in March. I forgot. I think it's like March 18th when the first wave comes out.
Yeah, that's right.
And this DLC is going to be bundled into the Switch Online Plus expansion pack, just like the Animal Crossing Happy Home Resort DLC was, which kind of played into the theory of maybe Nintendo will add more DLC to the expansion pack to give it more value. As opposed, it just being $50 and here's this Animal Crossing thing. Just like, wait, what? I don't want that. So that cushions things a bit. It adds more value to the expansion pack. $25 for 48 tracks that are remastered. That's cool. It's not like, oh, you got to pay a bunch of money for a small amount of tracks. You're getting 48, which is going to bring the total track count to, I believe, 96 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is a lot of tracks. With all that in mind, I actually am not that mad at this announcement. It's curious, like, why they waited so long to do it, but it's still cool. I'm like, all right, I'm actually on board with this. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think it's kind of good value for money. I mean, you're getting
100%.
Like you're getting 48 tracks for $25. And like, I also kind of like that they're not releasing it all in one go, because if they did that, then I feel like it would overwhelm a lot of people, because you'll be adding like a large collection of tracks. Like, how many tracks do they have right now?
I think 48.
Oh, like
there are 8 cups in the game, and each cup has 4 tracks. So 4 times 8
32.
I might be wrong on my math then. probably wrong on my math. Then I thought it were 8 cups.
Yeah,
Regardless,
yeah,
it's going to be a lot of tracks.
yeah. Regardless, it's like you could potentially be like somewhere in the region of doubling your track number in one go. I feel like that's a little bit overwhelming for some people, where it's like, oh my god, which one do I play first? So I do kind of like that they're releasing it over 6 waves, and I also like that they're taking their time with it, and then they're not like rushing to get it out. So I think
I was wrong. There are 12 cups in the game. 12 cups, 4 tracks for each cup, 6, 48. There you go.
Yeah. So they would be doubling their tracks. I don't own Mario Kart for my sister. My sister does, so I have to slightly steal her copy. But I'm excited. I'm probably gonna get this if I ever get Mario Kart.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, okay, we're getting this instead of Mario Kart 9. The DLC is going to the end of 2023, which means Mario Kart 9 is 2024 at the earliest.
Yep.
Fans got to wait a while for that one. So it's probably, if it doesn't come for the Switch, it's probably going to be a Switch successor game, maybe a launch game for that platform. But I mean, when you think about it, it's like you're basically getting a whole new game in terms of tracks. Like you're getting a whole new game's worth of tracks with this DLC over the course of a year and change. And again, I am all on board. I'm just surprised it took this long, because this 2-year DLC drop that they're going to be doing, they could have done in 2017 or 2018, have it last to 2020, or 2019, go to 2021. Like this could have been going on and done by now. So it's interesting that they're doing it now, but maybe it's a way to get people excited at this point in time and be a slow but steady lead into Mario Kart 9. It comes maybe a year after this is done. Maybe that's the angle on it. Who knows? But hey, it's happening. It's cool. I know Mario Kart fans who like are really into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They're like, I'm all in on this. They're super happy. They're satisfied by it. It's just a curious decision, just why now of all time. But nonetheless, looking forward to it. And the final announcement from the Nintendo Direct is that finally Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has been announced at long last after being rumored for a very long time. It is real, it is happening, and it is coming this year in September, which is very, very soon. I have not played any Xenoblade Chronicles games. I have been intrigued by them and interested by them, though. I've wanted to play them, just never got around to it. Watching the trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I was like, I want to play this game, but I probably need to play the first 2 first. And I asked around and got an answer like, this one, based on what the director has said so far, it seems like it'll be connected to the first 2. So like, I probably should play the first 2 games, but they're both like long. So it's going to be a matter of, okay, finding time to play those 2 and fitting them in. It's not going to happen before 3 comes out. That's for sure. 3 is going to be a game I play way down the road. But this game has made me say I will play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and Definitive Edition. I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2. And then I will play 3. It's going to happen.
I mean, let me find the name of it. Similar to Fire Emblem, it's like this game looks cool. It looks like a game that a lot of people are going to enjoy, because it's a very well-known franchise. It's very liked, but just not by me. I'm not a big fan of this kind of game, so not for me.
I wonder, what is it about this type of game that you're like, that you don't like?
Just JRPGs.
It is a JRPG.
Yeah. I don't like having to, like, this is gonna sound kind of weird because I play a few other games that are kind of like this in a way, but like, I'm just not a huge fan of the way in which you manage your team in like a lot of JRPGs.
Okay.
So like I suppose the game that I've played most recently that you could kind of argue is similar is Guardians, where like you're commanding other people as to what to do all the time and making sure that like they have health and they have stamina or mana or whatever. And I'm just like, it's probably just because my brain's too small, but it's too many things for me to keep track of all at the same time. Like, I think the reason I'm getting on well with Final Fantasy so much is because like I don't have to hugely focus on that with the difficulty I'm playing at.
Okay.
If that makes sense. But that's usually like the thing that kind of turns me off of a JRPG, is like having to constantly manage everything that everyone is doing all at the same time.
Okay. Interesting. I was just curious what it was that had you be like, no, death to JRPGs.
No,
They will
like
never touch me.
and like not like for the people who enjoy JRPGs, great, fantastic, all the more power to you. Just not my kind of game. Usually,
Okay.
like I say, I'm very much enjoying 7 Remake from what I played.
Okay.
Maybe
Interesting.
maybe that's going to be my gateway, and maybe after this I'll be a JRPG nut, and I'll just play nothing but JRPGs.
I mean, hey, JRPGs are different. I mean, Scarlet Nexus is a different type of JRPG as opposed to like a Final Fantasy X, as opposed to a Dragon Quest, as opposed to a Trails, as opposed to a Tales of game, as opposed to a Xenoblade. The JRPGs, they're all different. They're all different. So you got to find one that you like, and then expand your horizons from there. This is the year you said one of your resolutions: start trying to play different games.
Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta keep that going. But overall, I would say this was a stellar Nintendo Direct from my eyes, and for the reception of a lot of Nintendo fans. A lot of them are saying this was an amazing Nintendo Direct. Again, top to bottom, start to finish, filled with a lot of great announcements, particularly JRPG fans eating really well from this. Again, Fire Emblem at the top. We got Front Mission in there. You had Chrono Cross. You had Live Alive. You had Triangle Strategy. You got Xenoblade Chronicles, Earthbound. Like JRPG fans eating real well. But again, even outside of that, there was still a nice announcement or two for everyone in here.
Yeah.
Like you with the Nintendo Switch and Kirby, and then there's also Mario Kart as well that tickled your fancy. Mario Strikers as well. That also had you a bit intrigued too. Like there was a lot of great stuff in here. And the smaller announcements, it was just like, this is a thing that's happening and we're moving on. Like Disney Speedstorm, we don't need to stick on it for long. Star Wars, Assassin's Creed, don't need to be on it long. Keep on moving. Like the things we need to sit on, we sat on them for as long as we needed to, and they kept it moving, which was good, which was a really good thing that they did here.
I'm gonna give my usual answer, in that for people who are Nintendo fans, I'm sure this was great, but for me, like there was stuff in it, like it's kind of the same with every Nintendo Direct. Is like they have stuff in it that like I think looks cool and I might play at some point, but like I'm just not the biggest Nintendo guy.
Yeah, which is why I was like, I wanted to be sure that I gave everything here the proper due, because I'm like, all right, I know Keiran's not the guy really with Nintendo, so I'm like, nah. We gotta give this stuff the respect it deserves. It needs to get that respect, that proper attention, and all. So yeah, great Nintendo Direct, and looking forward to all these games that they're going to be dropping in the next, 3, 4, 5 months. There's so many games that they'd announced there. It's a great year for gaming on Nintendo as of right now. So we got a bit of an update on Call of Duty, Activision, Blizzard Games, in regards to Microsoft's acquisition of the company this week, and it was a small statement, really, the grand scheme of things, just a small clarification. But it's a big deal because it's clearing things up, and people are still being like, hey, but still doing the word game of, but what does this mean that? But I think this kind of really is the final thing to be like, all right, no, this is what's happening for sure.
Yeah.
Microsoft, they put out a blog post this week about regulation and all that they're going to be doing in terms of like their app store, and also in regards to Activision Blizzard games, like, and ahead of the acquisition that they're doing, ahead of regulation is going to be coming their way because of this acquisition and all. So the section we're going to be talking about is literally a 2-paragraph section in this longer thing that really sounded more like it was really addressing the topics of the Apple Epic fight that was going on last year in regards to like, we're going to have open app store policies now. This is what we're going to do, and so on and so forth. But they did talk about briefly Activision Blizzard acquisition of Call of Duty and so on and so forth. So I'm going to read from the blog post here. They say, quote, first, some commenters have asked whether we will continue to make popular content like Activision's Call of Duty available on competing platforms like Sony's PlayStation. The obvious concern is that Microsoft could make this title available exclusively on the Xbox console, undermining opportunities for Sony PlayStation users. To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision. And we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. We are also interested in taking similar steps to support Nintendo's successful platform. We believe this is the right thing for the industry, for gamers, and for our business, end quote. Keiran, do you think that we can definitively and finally close the book on this discussion surrounding exclusivity of Call of Duty and other Activision Blizzard games, but more specifically, Call of Duty? Can we officially close the book on it and say that Call of Duty will not be exclusive to Xbox after like 2024, 2025, after any existing agreements? Can we agree that it will stay multi-platform?
Yes, I am. Like I've always been fairly confident that Call of Duty was going to remain multi-platform because like it doesn't make sense both from a business sense and just a sense of wanting to like keep the game on as many platforms as possible to keep the people on those platforms happy. Like because
like
I mean,
not screwing people over.
Yeah, exactly. Because like it's, I mean, we were talking about this on the last episode. We talked about this acquisition. Like, yes, Skyrim and Fallout and Doom and all that are very well liked games across the industry, but like they're not the best selling game every single year.
They're
like,
not the juggernaut that is Call of Duty or GTA.
Exactly. So it's like, yes, they could have made Call of Duty exclusive, but it wouldn't make sense to make that game specifically exclusive. Like they can make any other game from Activision Blizzard that they want to exclusive because like, yes, they still have some other big games like Overwatch, but like it's not as big as Call of, like nothing's as big as nothing's as big as Call of Duty. So
you got it.
Yeah. So it's like in my head, this book has kind of been closed for a while because I've been like, there's no way they're making it exclusive. But I'm happy that they've come out and said, yes, we will continue to make Call of Duty for the platforms it is currently available on.
Right. And like I've seen
possibly Switch.
Yeah, and I've seen people doing the wordplay of, well, wait, do they mean when they say we'll keep them on a PlayStation beyond existing agreements and into the future, do they mean that the games that are out now, they're not going to pull them in after like agreements are done? Or like, is that what they mean? Does that mean like only Warzone will be like the new thing that goes forward? What do they mean? And like, I think this is like really easy. I mean, I guess, yes, I could see how people could still have that confusion. Be like, hey, maybe they're not saying definitively new games as well will be made available continuously on PlayStation. Like they did not say that definitively. Those specific words did not come out their mouths.
No.
But I think this is like the clearest sign, the clearest declaration they can say without straight up saying Call of Duty will be on PlayStation in 10 years or 2026. It will still be on PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think this is the clearest declaration they can make without saying something like that. To be like, hey, Call of Duty is not going away. Overwatch is not going away. Diablo 4 will probably still be there too.
Yeah.
Like Crash, Spyro, Tony Hawk will probably still be there. Like, I think this is the clearest it can be. And if it comes back to like if Call of Duty comes to Nintendo, that'd be cool because it hasn't been on Nintendo since 2013's Ghost with the Wii U and everything. It's been a hot minute since Nintendo had a Call of Duty game. I mean, then their versions of the COD games were like definitely like the I want McDonald's, we got it at home. Those versions of it in a sense. But I mean, it'd still be cool. Put them on Switch. I'm sure they see it on like with the potential of like Switch sales and everything. Get the right developer to port it over and it can happen. I mean, you got the first Doom over there, you got some Wolfenstein games on Switch. Witcher 3 is on Switch. Like, I'm sure it's possible. It would definitely be compromised in a sense because of Switch hardware, but it could happen, and I'm sure it would sell fairly well over on Switch. So, I mean, why not if you can make it happen?
Yeah, exactly. It's like they seem to be taking a much smarter approach, especially with Call of Duty when it comes to putting on other platforms. Because I mean, like I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but like they would be leaving so much money just lying on the table if they didn't continue to put it on other platforms. Like Call of
Yep.
Duty was the best selling game on PlayStation last year. Like
Mhm.
you can't argue that if you took it off PlayStation, it would be a big hit to the business of Activision Blizzard. So
Yeah.
it does not make sense to pull it off of other platforms. It makes sense to put it onto other platforms like Nintendo because that's more revenue. So
Yeah.
and if you're already putting it on PlayStation, what's the point in saying, okay, we're going to put it on this competitor but not this one? Like
Right.
it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the potential of like, oh, if we put it on Nintendo, maybe it has to be like a cloud streaming version, and maybe that's how we get Xbox cloud streaming on there.
Yeah,
Who knows? It's all ifs, what ifs, and how about right
yeah.
now. Nothing like
Ifs, ands, and
solid,
buts.
concrete, exact ifs, ands, and buts. There you go. That's more so what I was trying to get at. But I've seen people in the Xbox community upset by this. And when I say in the Xbox community, I don't mean like the figureheads or anything. I mean strictly like the 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 quote unquote Xbots, the people who, who are the people who are like Xbots and Sony ponies and like
Yeah,
those type of gamers specifically. Those are what
yeah.
I'm talking about in the community where they're just like, how could you do this? This is wrong. This is terrible. How could you let it be multi-platform? It's not fair. It doesn't make sense. And it's just like, I that's kind of a silly thing to be upset about. Like really silly thing to be upset about. I don't think they should be upset by this at all. Especially when you'll still get the game on Game Pass. So
Exactly.
it's gonna be
I
on Game Pass. I don't see how you lose.
I have a message for all of those quote unquote Xbots. Just sit down and drink your juice box. Just sit down. Like just stop throwing a tantrum. You get it on Game Pass day one for free. Shut up.
Yeah, it's honestly like it's just a silly thing. It's a silly thing to be
Yeah,
upset about. No one loses right now in this situation,
exactly.
as we know right now. Xbox gets it on Game Pass. Everywhere else, you got to pay for it, but it's still going to be made available for everyone else on other platforms, which is a very important thing.
Yep.
Which that was my, aside from the consolidation side of things, that was my big concern with this. Just like, how do you just take that away from people? Like, that's just wrong. You
Yeah.
just should not do that. So
Yeah.
it's great that everyone is still going to be able to play Call of Duty and other Activision Blizzard games on their preferred platform of choice, because choice is what matters.
Yeah. Just think about it like this. The more money that Microsoft makes from Call of Duty, the more money they have to invest in bigger and better games.
That is one way to look at it. That's like a glass half full type of perspective to
Exactly.
give to people, in addition to the Game Pass side of things.
Yeah.
That's like a glass and a half full right there. The full glass is the Game Pass, and the half full is the, hey, they get more money to make these other games better.
Exactly.
Look at that. Look at that. So we also got a bit of a report on Assassin's Creed. Now, this report came from Bloomberg. Jason Schreier, of course, over
Yeah.
there.
Who else?
We love the Jason Schreier with him and the
Mhm.
scoops and all the things and the nose and the know-hows and everything he has. Put this report out about Assassin's Creed, and it's basically saying that they're basically planning to have a new standalone game, a smaller standalone game come out that was originally an expansion for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm going to read a bit from his article here. He says here, Ubisoft Entertainment SA has turned an Assassin's Creed expansion into a standalone game to help fill out its thin release schedule, according to people familiar with the project. The game, codenamed Rift, was originally planned as an expansion for 2020's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but morphed into a full game late last year, said the people, speaking anonymously because they weren't authorized to talk to the media. It will star Basim, or is it Basim? I'm not sure how it's pronounced. You should know because you played Valhalla. You don't know.
Basim.
Basim. I thought that sounded more right in my head. It will star Basim, a popular assassin character from Valhalla, and will be smaller in scope than recent games in the series, the people said. The game won't be a massive open world role playing game like previous recent entries, focusing instead more on stealth gameplay It is planned for later this year or 2023. Skipping ahead a bit, he says Rift will arrive before Assassin's Creed Infinity, an ambitious online service game that will contain multiple historical settings, as the Bloomberg reported last year. Ubisoft has shaken up several smaller Assassin's Creed expansions over the last year, canceling some, according to the People. A spokeswoman for Ubisoft said the company doesn't comment, quote, on rumors or speculation as they do a disservice to our development teams and community, adding that they have, quote, solid and exciting lineup of titles in our pipeline, both established brands with new story twists and features and brand new IPs that will continue to change the landscape of today's video games, end quote. I am in on this idea. I have yet to play Valhalla. I still got to get around to it. It's still in the shrink wrap. But I am excited at this idea of smaller in scope, not a massive open world RPG. Mm-hmm. It's more of a focus on stealth gameplay. Give me that. That is the Assassin's Creed I've been wanting since I started playing Odyssey. And I was like, oh boy, like I miss, if it's anything like the older Assassin's Creed games, I'm all for it. Give me a game like that. Give me that shorter length, smaller in scope. And I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited by that. And it makes me want to play Valhalla so I could be caught up on story and everything like that.
Yeah. I'm also in on this game. I do want more DLC for Valhalla just because it's my favorite Assassin's Creed game and I want as much content for that game as possible. I pre-ordered.
You'll be playing as a god pretty soon.
Yeah, I pre-ordered the Dawn of Ragnarok yesterday, 2 days ago. Nice. So I will be playing that when it comes out. But I'm also very interested and kind of on board with like an Assassin's Creed game of old where you don't have skill trees to manage and this massive world to explore and a million things to do that it's going to take you 100 hours to complete. Like I'm on board with this. I'm like I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this. I wish that like they would go back in this direction with the mainline games, and maybe we'll see stuff like this from Infinity. Who knows? We really don't even know anything concrete on what Infinity's final version will look like when it officially comes out and everything. But I so miss the days where Assassin's Creed games were 30, 40 hours at maximum, not 30, 40 hours at bare minimum.
Yeah.
Like that. I miss those days. I miss where it was like the focus was on sneaking around and assassinating your targets, like figuring out how you were going to assassinate them. How do I want to go after them? How do I have to go after them? Figuring your way out the environment as opposed to, all right, I got to trek across the map over there. Let me hop on my horse to get over there. And there's all these different side quests and things to do along the way. And all these storylines. It's all just crazy to keep track of and stuff. Like I just miss the more simple, more simplified Assassin's Creed games that we had back in the day that we haven't gotten since Syndicate. I miss them very dearly. So that's why I'm interested in this. But what Jason said in his article about, he says in there shortly after where I stopped, about how Ubisoft kind of doesn't really have much in their lineup and how they were trying to use this to fill out their lineup in a sense, kind of like make time, and how Rainbow Six Extraction is also kind of a way to like, hey, trying to pad out our release schedule in a sense. So I kind of pulled up right here a list of all the games that we know they're working on. And I was like, wow, their release schedule is kind of not looking that good. Nope. So as of right now, we know of 12 games that Ubisoft has in development. Only 2 of those have release windows right now. So I'm going to say in order we have Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which is announced for this year. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope announced for this year. Roller Champions was supposed to be out last year, has not come out yet. Don't know when it's coming out. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake delayed indefinitely. And then everything else from here on in is to be announced. Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland, no date. Skull and Bones, nothing. Assassin's Creed Infinity, nothing that we know of as of right now. I think that's supposed to be 2024 reportedly, but nothing official. Tom Clancy's X-Defiant, TBA. Massive's new Star Wars game that was just announced, I think, end of last year or earlier this year, was announced not too long ago. TBA, that makes sense. It's like really early development, but still. Beyond Good and Evil 2, TBA, Ghost Recon Frontline, TBA, Splinter Cell Remake. Also, again, just recently announced. That's super early development. So TBA, understandably, but still. When you look at it like this, there's a lot of stuff we have no idea when this stuff is coming out. And a lot of these games seem like they're either in like development hell or they're just have like issues going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, of these 12, I'm only interested in 5. Like their lineup, like I'm sure appeals to a wide audience. Just like honestly, there's not a whole lot in here that I'm like super excited for. Avatar, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed Infinity, massive Star Wars game, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 are really the only ones that I'm excited for. And only one of those we have any sort of vague idea of when it's coming out. So for me, like the question you have here is like, how dire a state do we think Ubisoft is in with regard to their upcoming release lineup? For me, it's pretty dire. Like I'm not playing many Ubisoft games in the next year or two.
Yeah, I think it's dire in terms of I guess you could say, and maybe partially in regards to the games that are coming out, but also just like, again, when are they coming out? And I mean, that's not to say that Ubisoft is the only company that's ever been in this situation or that like it's going to be the case forever with them. Like, I'm not trying to say that, but the fact that we only know of 2 releases for them, like dates, and one of them was supposed to be out last year, is not out, and everything else is just kind of up in limbo. That doesn't bode well, really. Because like Skull and Bones having all types of development issues over there. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Frontline, that was the battle royale one that was going into beta last year. Remember, it was like it had a beta, but then the beta got canceled or delayed or something like that indefinitely. So like that's what's going on with that one. Beyond Good and Evil 2, we already know about that. Don't need to go into that. X Defiant, that had like a beta or an alpha or something last year. We haven't heard anything else from it since. Infinity, that's like what everyone over there is really working on for sure. The Division Heartland, we know basically nothing about it as far as I know. Sands of Time remake delayed indefinitely to work on it and make it actually good. So like all these TBA games are going through some type of development issue for the most part. Massive Star Wars game and a Splinter Cell remake are the only 2 that, as far as we know, are not. I guess you could include Infinity in there as well. Yeah. So like, it's just like, man, Ubisoft, what's going on over there? And it makes me worry. Like, they've been trying to fight off being acquired. I mean, being bought out by I believe it was Vivendi or whatnot for some. I think it was like a couple years ago. But they've been, they've had rough times in the past few years, and I would not be surprised if Ubisoft ends up getting bought out by some big company in a way to like kind of help them out, as much as they don't want that to happen. Yeah, and I mean, like, if you put on top of that, like one of the big games that could have made them money in the interim, Hyperscape, has just been shut down. I forgot about that. Yep, that was shut down last week. Yeah, exactly. So like, they don't have a lot of games out now that can continuously make them money outside of like Rainbow Six, Valhalla to an extent because of Dawn of Ragnarok, but that's only going to be like a short-term thing in terms of like a big money maker. I'm sure it'll sell over time still, but like they don't really have a lot of games that are going to continuously make them money. Like off the top of my head, EA have Apex, Madden, FIFA. Yeah, 2K have obviously GTA 5 and then also like NBA 2K, all that kind of games. Square Enix 14. Final Fantasy 14. Like all these other companies have their foot in like an established way to make money over the course of a long period of time. Ubisoft is really like one of the only big publishers I can think of that doesn't have that. So I can honestly see I honestly can't see a future
where if they don't get bought out, they get very, very close to like needing assistance from someone.
Yeah, it's like they kind of have the Call of Duty, the Activision issue where, to an extent, where their big thing that makes them their money is Assassin's Creed when it comes out.
Yeah.
And if it's not an Assassin's Creed year, it's like, all right, what are we doing to kind of fill the time until it comes? And I mean, they put out other IP, like they put out other IPs and all, which which do well. And we got not Gods and Monsters, Immortals, Phoenix Rising, like that was a different thing. You got your Rainbow Sixes, Avatars coming soon. You got your Mario and Rabbids. Like they have other ideas and all, but like right now, it's like kind of really clear. Like, hey, Assassin's Creed is their thing, and with how their lineup is looking, is like, hey, what's going on here? We kind of trying to buy time to the next Assassin's Creed. It's just kind of it's sad. It's a bit sad, really. Yeah. At the end of the day. And I think we'll have a better idea come E3 time or Summer Game Fest time, whatever you want to call it, the summertime, whenever they do another showcase of sorts. Once that comes around and we see what they show, I think then we'll be able to better say, like, things are kind of dire over there. Yeah. Like, what's going on with this game? What's up with this game? Is it coming out anytime soon? What is this game even doing? What does it look like? So on and so forth. It's going to be interesting seeing what's happened with Ubisoft over the next couple months for sure. That's all I really have to say about them. You got any final thoughts on Ubisoft?
I just have one. Like Ubisoft have kind of dug themselves into a hole recently, especially with all like the workplace culture stuff that's been going on over there, and like not listening to their employees in the slightest. So like they're already on thin ice. That ice is beginning to crack because they are, by the looks of it, quite interested in getting into the NFT market, like quite heavily. So
there's that too, which is not gonna do them any favors.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I remember a time when Ubisoft was one of like the big names in video games, where like they would put out games that like everyone would want to buy because they enjoy, like Splinter Cell, Assassin's Creed, like the older Tom Clancy games like Rainbow Six Vegas 2 and stuff like that. So like I can honestly see a future where like it's honestly kind of already happening, but like they're definitely not as relevant as they were, and they are continuing to be less relevant, which they need to address. They need to come out with something that is like, look at us, we're still relevant. Here's what's going to slingshot us back into the top dogs in the video game industry, rather than kind of Homer Simpsoning into the background.
Yeah, hopefully they can. I'm sure like Infinity is part of that plan. Splinter Cell Remake is part of that plan, and Avatar. I think those are like the three pillars of that plan as of right now. But I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Ubisoft for sure. So that's enough news for this episode. Let's talk about what we've been playing lately. Yeah. You want to talk about your Ghost of Tsushima?
Can do.
Give me some details on it. What are you thinking of it? How are you liking it?
So first off, I haven't been here for like 3 weeks now. I think this is the first one in 3 weeks. In that time, I have spent 15 hours playing Ghost of Tsushima, and that's it. Like I just to kind of show how busy I've been, I genuinely didn't pick up a controller for like 2 weeks. So
well then,
I bought Ghost of Tsushima last Friday, and I have played like a couple of hours of it, like here or there. Like I said, I played 15 hours of it so far, according to my profile on PlayStation. This is very quickly like shooting its way up my list of my favorite games I've ever played. It's amazing. Like the combat is by far my favorite thing about this game. Like with all the different things you can do, finding the perfect point to parry, or like it's fluid, it's smooth, it's fun, it's like probably one of the best.
It looks super cool too.
Yeah, exactly. Like the standoffs are
like, it looks cool and feels cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's like every time I win a standoff, I'm like, yes, I did it.
Do you do the thing? There's a certain swipe you can do on the touchpad that has you put away your sword. So if you do it after you've like just did a fight, if you do that swipe, sometimes Jim will go and like
I did not know
do a
you could do
swing that
that.
makes the blood go off his sword, and then he'll like put it away. Or after another one he'll do is instead of doing that, he'll go like and slowly put it away. Like it's cool. It's one of the swipes. I think it's like swiping to the right. Swiping to the right or swiping up. You'll see it.
Yeah. The only thing I've used a touchpad for is you swipe up for the wind to show.
Oh yes, so up is the wind. I think down is a bow. I forgot. I think swiping to the right is the sword one. Just try different swipes.
But yeah, like I'm low key obsessed with this game right now. Like I'm not playing anything else until I finish it. Like this, everyone had told me like how gorgeous this game was.
Yes.
Which is why I'm playing it now, because I wanted to wait until I had my 4K OLED TV before I played it, and I'm so glad I did. Because
it's beautiful.
It looks insane. Like I also like that like this is kind of like in stark contrast to like my opinion of Ubisoft open world games, where Ubisoft open world games overwhelm you with things to do. Like there's a thing to do like every like 5 feet, whereas in this game I feel like they've like nailed the like right amount of stuff to do, where like you can quite easily ride on your horse through like the open fields of Tsushima and not find anything to do, but then you could turn a corner and there's something there. Like
I loved how the game like you see the smoke and you're like, oh, let me see what that smoke is, or the bird leads you to something or what have you. Like the exploration was so natural and it felt so good, and there was like you said, the right amount of things in the world.
Like I also feel like the game is paced really well. Like I was playing it and like I felt like I had done a lot. I felt like I had achieved all my goals. I'd saved Tsushima. I've done all that, and I'm like, oh, I haven't finished Act 1 yet. Like
nope. 3x baby. And then there's Iki Island.
So I bought the PS5 director's cut. So I have all that. I'm using the deluxe edition horse, which I named Kage because I love Naruto.
Nice.
But like this game is like, honestly, I'm like halfway through Act 2, I think. I'm trying to remember exactly where I am. I've just done the mission at Umugi Cove where you meet Goro to go and send a message to the Shogun for reinforcements.
Okay, got it. Vaguely remember it.
What was I saying?
Second half of the game, Act 2, have it fun. Basically, you're enjoying it. You're enjoying it a great deal.
I can't remember, but yeah, like it's a really fun game. Oh, I remember what I was saying. I'm only like halfway through Act 2, but like this is already in like my top 5 games. Like
all time or just PS4 or like PlayStation games?
All time.
Wow.
I am loving this game. It's so amazingly good.
I loved it. I loved it too. Again, I played it and I reviewed it for Loading XP when I was over there, and this game just absorbed me, blew me away. I was like, wow, this is an amazing game. Such a great game. So I'm happy you're enjoying it. Really happy you are.
Yeah. When I first started playing it, like I didn't have a whole lot of time. I had a uni assessment due, but I started playing it and I was like, yeah, I'll play it for an hour. And then I checked the time and I've been playing it for 5 hours. Like,
it had the Knockout City effect on you.
Yeah, like I just got so engrossed with the story and the characters, and I was in it. Still got my uni assessment done on time.
Nice. I before we finish up, before we like move off the Ghost of Tsushima top real quick, that title sequence, that title reveal,
title sequence is perfection.
It is. It is
so good.
Like that build up, and then it happens. That was the moment I was playing it. I was just like, damn, this is about to be a good game. This is about to be an amazing game right here. That was beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's incredible. Like I say, I'm like, that's honestly one of the reasons why I might not get Forbidden West at launch, because I don't plan on playing anything else until I finish Ghost of Tsushima, because I want to. That's one game that I want to finish. I'm also, because I know I'm taking up a lot of time, but I'll be very brief. I started with the Japanese dialogue because that's how I wanted to play the game. But then I was like, you know what? I want to like experience the story without having to like take my
Constantly
eyes,
reading.
like take my eyes off of what's happening. So I plan, once I'm finished this playthrough, I plan on doing another playthrough in the Japanese dialogue.
Yeah, I want to do one in Japanese dialogue too. I just never got around to it. So enjoy the game, man. I really hope you enjoy it. It's such a great game, such a great one. Real quick, have you finished Far Cry 6 yet or no?
I have not.
Okay, because I finished it while I was while you were gone. And I talked about it on the last episode or what we were playing. And I spoiled the end of the game because it was like the last thing I was talking about. I was like, I finished the game. I'm gonna spoil the ending. If you haven't finished it, bounce out the episode right now. It's the end of the episode anyway. Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil the ending for you, but I did finish it. I just basically mainlined the rest of that game. I did some side quests, but at a certain point, I was like, honestly, not only do I not care, like I don't need any of the rewards from these missions. Like I have my one rifle, my pistol, and I have my rifle, my sniper, and my assault rifle. I need nothing else. I've only used the Rocket Supremo. I am good. I don't care about other armors. I have the armors I want and they work for me. I'm fine. I'm out here headshotting people with my silenced rifle, using my silenced sniper to headshot people from a distance when need be, or using my assault rifle when things go crazy and silencing doesn't matter, you know? So I just kind of like mainline the main story for the most part because I also wanted to finish it before Sifu came out and everything. And it's a weird game because I enjoyed it, but I also don't think it's like that great. It's a game where I had fun, but it's not like the greatest Far Cry. Like I liked it. I think I liked it overall less than 5, but I was never like bored when playing it. I always had a good time when playing it. I distinctly though, like the ending, I was like, it fell flat for me because a decision was made at the end and I was just like, wait, what? Huh? Where? Why? Huh? I wasn't on board. I was like, it just kind of came out of nowhere and I don't know how in character this is and why this is happening, but it's happening and okay. And I guess we're done. And that's that. But like, it was really weird. I'm not as much as I'm going to say about Far Cry 6 as you haven't finished it yet.
Yeah. I do have one very quick thing to tack on to that just about Far Cry 6. Very, very surprisingly, there was a point in that game that made me cry.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
I'll tell you what it is after the show because I don't want to spoil it for people who have finished it. Sorry, who haven't finished it. Okay.
Interesting topic right there. You'll probably like the game as a whole more than me. Actually, I know you definitely will have liked the game as a whole more than I have. Yeah. I do wonder how you'll feel about the ending though, because I think the ending kind of comes out of not left field, but it's just like, okay, that just happened. Interesting. But that aside, the game that I have been playing this week has been Sifu. I don't have gameplay to show Keiran right now, but I just didn't have a chance to edit anything together. But tonight I'm going to edit some gameplay together and send it to him. So there will be something on screen for you to see, to watch while I'm talking about it. But Sifu, been playing that this week. And it is that game, when we first heard about it, I thought it was going to be like a narrative, third person type of action adventure game. And it's not like that at all. It's more of a beat 'em up. It's a beat 'em up, third person beat 'em up type game that is very brutal. It is punishing and very difficult. And I cannot get past the third boss. At first, I couldn't get past the second boss. Now I can't get past the third boss. That being said, I keep beating my head against the wall, but I still have fun with the game. Like, it's still a game that I have fun playing, even though I don't think I'll be finishing this game. And I don't know if I'm going to be playing it much more because of how difficult it is. But it's still a whole lot of fun pulling off the moves and everything. So as like a bit of the premise here, you're a student. I think it's like either your father or your master gets killed by former students of his when you're a child. And you see it happen and you vow to get revenge on them. So you grow up. As you grow up, this happens like in a montage. You basically become a master in the martial arts you were studying and everything. And now you're 20 years old. and your mission is, all right, I'm gonna go find these 5 people, kill them all, basically. And each level has one target in it, right? So you have also this detective type board, which has clues for like each of the people. The detective board is really of no importance to the overall story or the gameplay. It just kind of gives you, I guess, a bit of background on like each leader and the area that they're in, but it plays no importance in the actual gameplay, at least from what I saw. So you start the game off at age 20, right? And the whole hook of this game that we've known of is when you die, you come back to life, but older. And you get older and older and older and older every time you die. The way it works is when you die, it adds 1 to your death counter, right? So when you die at the start of the game, you're age 20. Well, when you're age 20 at the start of the game, you die once, you become age 21. And that's 1 on your death counter. Now, the next time you die, it adds 2 to your death counter. And then you age up 2 years.
Okay.
The next time you die, that's your 3rd death, and it adds 3 years to your age. So you start at age 20, you die once, you become 21. You die a second time, you become 23. You die a 3rd time, you become 24. You die a 5th time, you become 29. And then after that, you die a 6th time, you become 35. You follow how the death works?
Yeah.
So it makes sense, right? That makes sense. It's simple to understand. Every time your death counter goes up, that's how many years you age by the next time you respawn. Yeah. There are enemies in each level where if you beat them, it'll decrease your death counter by 1. So say you've died 3 times, right? If you beat this specific enemy, it'll drop it down to 2. So if you're 24, instead of turning 27 next time, you'll only turn 26 next time you die.
Okay.
Makes sense because it went from 3 to 2. Easy to follow. That's all good. When every time you die, that's when you're able to upgrade your skills. You get experience points in each level by, just by beating people up, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get experience points. And there's a host of different abilities for you to and skills for you to learn that each have varying XP requirements and all. When you unlock a skill though, you don't unlock it permanently. You unlock it temporarily until So you unlock it until you are completely out of completely out of respawns. The oldest you can get is to like 70. The oldest you could get is like into your 70s. If you die anytime after you are in your 70s, it's a complete game over. And you have to start again. So any skills that you unlock, you have them temporarily until your game over. In order to unlock a skill permanently, you have to purchase it 5 times. Once you have a skill unlocked permanently, you have it. You basically keep it no matter how many times, like you keep it throughout game overs, essentially. That it's a bit annoying though, because some skills you have to learn by a certain age. So some skills you could only learn them in your 20s. Other skills you can only learn them in your if you're younger than 30, if you're younger than 40, if you're younger than 50, right? So say you get a skill when you're in your 20s, but then you die a bunch and then you're in your 30s. Well, you can't get any of the other skills from the 20s anymore. You can continue to try and purchase the one that you already bought in your 20s, but you can't like unlock any of the others from your 20s, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So it locks out ones from when you age up.
Yeah. So because my question was going to be, if you can only buy, say, like a skill in your 20s, can you then, so say you buy that 2 times in one playthrough, could you then buy another 3 times and have that be 5, like in another game over?
No, you have to buy it 5 times in one in order for it to be permanent.
Okay.
It's not 2 in one and 3 in another. It's like you got to buy it all 5 times then, which is a bit annoying because it's like, I want to get all these other abilities, but if I want to keep this, if I want to have this one permanently, I have to focus on getting this one in this playthrough, which is like a bit annoying, to be honest. And So that's kind of the skill system. Now I forgot to also mention, every time you age 10 years, you do more damage but lose some health. So you become a bit weak. You take more damage as you get older, but you're able to deal out a bit more damage as well. Something else with the age mechanic and the game's leveling is that, so every level, like you start the game at age 20. Say I get to level 2 at age 30, right? If I die on the second level, I don't have to start at the beginning of the game. I could start back at the second level, but I'm starting the second level back at age 30.
Okay.
So any level that you die on, you can continue from that level, but you continue it at the youngest age you were at when you reached it.
Okay.
So say I get to the third level at age 35, but I die on that one a bunch. And I'm like, man, I need more lives. I have to go back to an earlier level, get through it as young as I can to have more lives and more chances on the third level. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So like if you get to the third level and you're like 35 and you're like, this isn't working for me, I need more chances. And you were only 28 at the beginning of level 2.
Yeah.
It's probably in your best interest. All right, I gotta go back to the beginning of the game and restart and try to get through this one with as few deaths as possible and get to the second one with as few deaths as possible to have more chances in the third level. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And that's part of like where the repetition and fun comes in with it. It's the repetition can be a bit fun because you end up learning the level layouts and like what enemies are there, because the levels, they're static and the enemy placements are static. It doesn't change at all. It's not like a roguelike where it's randomized or anything. The same rooms are in the same places, the same enemies are in the same rooms with the same items that they have every single time. So like that can be cool because you end up mastering levels and all, and you end up mastering enemy placements. But it could also be a bit like annoying because it's like, I'm doing this over and over again to try and get a better shot farther down the road. But some of these levels aren't easy to get through. Like some of them can be pretty difficult to get through. So if you're repeating a difficult level to get through for a better chance later on, it's not really all that, fun or rewarding in a sense. Part of this difficulty in the game, though, the real source of the difficulty in this game comes from combat now. I say this because the combat system, you have your regular light attacks, heavy attacks, and all like that. You have throws you can do, doing your combos and all. But the game's combat is really reliant on parries and dodges. And the game teaches you, like, you hold down L1 to block, right? And if you do it at the right time, you do a parry, which opens up an enemy for attacks. You can dodge as well by holding L1 and moving the left stick in one of the directions that has you dodge in different directions. But the game has like a stun. It has something called structure, which is essentially like how I guess how some games have it. Like if you block too much, then your form is broken down and then it opens you up to attack. That's what your structure is. And you and enemies have it. If your structure is broken, it opens you up to hits. Same for enemies. So you gotta like break them. You can either try and break them down by punching through their blocks or pairing at the right time, beating them up a bunch, which breaks the structure super fast, and then you could do like a nice cool takedown on them. It's simple in practice and all, but the window for parries for certain attacks, it's really small. And for some enemies, like I find myself just like kind of trying to rapidly tap L1 because I'm like, I'm not sure if I do it here, I might be too early. If I do it here, I might be a bit too late. Kind of rapidly tapping it, and you might end up missing at points because you do that, or you like, oh no, it's right here, I got it, and you press it, but no, you were just like a hair too early or a hair too late, so you missed it still. And it could be, again, it's hard, it might be a bit cliche to say, but really brutal, just like missing those parries and stuff, because again, the game in combat is so reliant on it. And that's where the repetition in levels comes in, because as you repeat the levels over and over again, you end up learning these enemies' move sets. So you end up learning, all right, this one needs to parry, this one needs to dodge, so on and so forth. And yeah, you can use items in the environment, like to pick up a bottle, let's toss it at someone, just like pick up, yeet, punch, punch, do a takedown on them, beat up this other guy, throw him into someone else, punch, punch, punch. Like when you get all these moves down pat and get the parries down and everything, you feel really cool and really awesome and really badass. I'm not gonna lie. And that's like part of why I have so much fun with it. But then I have so much frustration when it's like, man, like I'm just trying to get this block and this parry down right, and I can't get it. I'm trying to learn these enemies' moves, but I can't figure it out. I can't. It's too much for me to figure out. All right, I gotta dodge this one, dodge that one, dodge that one, parry this, parry that. It could be a bit much. That's specifically more so with like boss type enemies. There are some regular enemies that are like that, but with the bosses, it's more so just like, all right, I could dodge this, I could dodge that, parry this. It could be a lot sometimes. It's really difficult. Like the game doesn't hold your hand. The prologue, it's easy. The first level of the game, easy-ish enough. And I did the first level, I was like, okay, I can do this. This is good. I got this. This shouldn't be too bad. The second level humbled me real quick. I was like, ooh, man, boy, oh boy. And like there are shortcuts in the levels that you can unlock. That way you don't have to go when you're replaying them. When you unlock a shortcut, it's that persists throughout all your playthroughs of it. So every time you replay a level, if you have the shortcut unlocked, you can just do that to get to the end faster. One of the shortcut for the third level, it's so good because it takes you directly to the boss. Like from the very first room, you beat up the two enemies in the first room, and then you use the shortcut, and then you're at the boss fight immediately, which I really liked. I found it out by accident, actually. But it was cool. I was like, all right, cool. Gives me a chance to like really tries over and over and over again, but kept beating me down. And I was just like, man, I'm good. I'm good, actually. I'm not going to be beating this game anytime soon. I'm not finishing it anytime soon. I'm not reviewing it because of that. I just can't. It's just not happening. Now, I think they did say that like they are going to add lower like difficulty options to make it easier or harder. So maybe I'll bump the difficulty down some for myself to actually get through it at some point. But as it is now, Sifu, it's a fun game. It's enjoyable. The combat mechanics are really cool, and it all feels good when it clicks. But it is just super difficult. It is really difficult.
Yeah, it sounds that sounds like the exact reason why I stopped playing Bloodborne, because I tried to kill Father Gascoigne, like literally the first boss in the game. I tried to kill Father Gascoigne like 60 times and couldn't do it, and I eventually gave up.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, maybe if you do give it a try, maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe you'll like the difficulty. Maybe it won't be as bad for you or as hard for you. But it's definitely a game where, like I said, like it's hard, and that difficulty is like beats me down at times. But even still, I'm just like, I have a lot of fun with this game. This game is fun, but it's just a pain. It's a pain to get through stuff. But nonetheless, I still had a good time with it. Don't know when I'll finish it. And yeah, that's all I've been playing this week. Next week on the show, you'll hear me talk about Horizon Forbidden West, because that's all I'm going to be playing. Well, I will have played it for like a day before we record the next episode. But then after that one, going all in. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
That's going to be it, though, for what we've been playing, I'm pretty sure. I don't have anything else I've been playing this week. I don't think you have anything else you've been playing this week.
I mean, I played the two games I bought in the sale this week on PlayStation were Ghost of Tsushima and Kena Bridge Spirits, and I've played like an hour of Kena, but not enough to give any thoughts on it.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing, you know, your thoughts on it. It is a short game, shorter than Ghost. You can finish that in like 12 to 15 hours. So
yeah,
maybe if you want to get through a quicker game, you could do that one. That way, you know, it's done. But up to you, whatever you want to do.
No, I'm all in on Ghost of Tsushima.
I completely understand. But yeah, that's going to wrap up episode 45 of the Play to Win podcast. Thank you all so very much for watching and or listening. If you enjoyed this episode, you know, please give us a like, comment, share, 5-star review on podcast services. That'd be really appreciated. You know, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, subscribe on podcast services. Anyway, you know, you get it as soon as the episode goes live. Hit the notification bell on YouTube so you know as soon as videos go live, and you can just go ahead and check them out immediately. Go over to our site, playtowingames.wordpress.com, home for all of our content over there. You see written content over there as well. So go check that site out. Hit us up over on Twitter and Instagram too at Play to Win Game. Follow us over there for updates on the show. You could also just hit us up over there, chat with us over there. Send us a message, or say, hey, I was interested in this Nintendo Direct. I liked some of the games that were shown here. You could also let us know your thoughts on the Nintendo Direct and everything we talked about this episode in the comment section down below. Better yet, I actually want to know if Sifu has been difficult, super difficult for any of you guys. Have any of you found Sifu's difficulty to be like unbearable for you? Has it been manageable? Is it too easy for you? Have you found the right spot with it? Did you get your platinum in the game? Let me know in the comment section of this video, or hit us up over on Twitter or Instagram at Play to Win Game. Let us know your thoughts on it. All that being said, though, I was about to call you Tyler. Keiran, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Tyler Miller 24. No, you can find me on.
Don't you dare! No.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Badlynet, BADLYNET, all one word.
Lovely. And you can follow me over on Twitter at Tyler Miller 2496. Thank you all so very much for watching and or listening. We'll talk to you all next time. Have a great one.
See you later.